Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. I got a question the other day about what would I do kind of if money were no object and how would I spend my free time if I wasn't working all the time. And I was like, wow, that is such an easy question to answer. I'm going to make a video about this because to be honest, during COVID, that was essentially what was going on. So I have already done this experiment of if I have more time, what do I in fact end up doing? So there is in fact an answer to that. And I will start by saying what I did during that time. And then even during that time, I still felt like I was not doing like as much as I would have liked to be doing. Okay. So I love studying languages. It's one of my hobbies, like, and it will probably always be one of my hobbies. I love it so much, and that's part of why I have this channel right now because it helps me maintain my Russian while I don't necessarily have as much time to study languages in the way I'd like. I read the comments, it helps me learn new vocabulary, and it helps me to keep practicing speaking and, formulating, like, producing speech, which becomes very difficult if you don't practice it or use it. So, languages are a major hobby of mine. I've studied 10 languages. I only really speak Russian fluently, and I can still hold a conversation in Spanish, but yeah, then a bunch of other languages, including, I'll list them real quick. I tried Chinese, that was hard. Armenian because I lived there. Kyrgyzstan because I lived there. I studied German a little bit while I was in Finland. I've studied French, Spanish, and Russian I've just listed. Oh, now the other ones become harder. Okay, I always cannot remember all of them when I'm on the spot. Arabic. I always forget, like, I did speak Arabic at one point, like, pretty, like, I was at, like, a lower level of speaking Arabic. And, I feel like there were some other, Finnish, because I lived in Finland, duh. And maybe I guess I count English as, like, I already speak English. So, something like that. Yeah. I think that's about everything. So, yeah, I love studying languages. I would take language classes for fun when I was in Finland. I would take like 4 language classes at once, like whatever they offered. I'd take Finnish, I'd take Russian, and then I would take German sometimes, and I'd take Spanish. And I think that's about everything that I could take there because the other ones, like Japanese and Swedish, were taught in Finnish. Yeah, so that I did try taking a German class through Finnish, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not at the right level. I did take Arabic lessons through Russian, and that was cool and that was doable. But the problem was, if I didn't know a word in Russian, I would instead end up learning the Russian word instead of the Arabic word. So that became kind of problematic. Okay, so languages are one thing. Exercising. During COVID, I would spend like 3 hours exercising. So instead of just running and doing cardio, I would also do like more weight, more body weight, more stretching. I really like yoga and stuff. I just don't do it as much as cardio. I used to bike. I used to do triathlon, so like swim, bike, run. I love all that kind of stuff. If I have time to play tennis with friends, I do that, even though I kind of suck at it, but I still try. Uh, so I like to clean and I like to organize, even though I'm super terrible at it while I don't have time. I like learning new things. I would really like to get better at programming. I still super suck at it. Like, I want to get better at building a website. I still suck at that too. Even though, like, I have learned how to do it and I understand conceptually how to do it, I don't actually know how to do it. I have a ton of well, do it well. Let's put it that way. I have a ton of books I've been dying to read, as you can see in my background. Yeah, and I do read a bunch of random parts of books. I'll do another video talking about what books I actually read, and like you can just kind of see my reading list, but I'm terrible at reading books. It takes me like 2 years to read a book in its entirety. So I read a lot of non-information books because I like to just pick them up and learn random stuff and then put them back down and cycle through them in that way. Okay. I do like fashion. I do like makeup, so like maybe I would do more stuff with that than what I do now. Um, I would like to spend more time like giving more time to my family and friends and paying attention to more people and like keeping my relationship stronger. I think I'm better at doing that with people in other countries because when I'm in other countries, my money is usually going further, so I'm less like money conscious or obsessed or whatever you want to call it. Here it's a little bit harder to do that. One of my hobbies right now is learning about financial literacy and the housing market. I've talked about this. Another thing that I do when I don't need money is I do entrepreneurial stuff because it's risky and you're not guaranteed to make money, but I think it's kind of fun. It's sort of like playing the lottery, like applying for these scholarships. I do like writing. That's another thing. Like, I keep a diary. I've been keeping a diary since 2005. It's almost 20 years, yeah, and I like still have all of them. uh, so writing, journaling, keeping stuff like that. Like, I used to write a lot when I was in Kyrgyzstan and Armenia and stuff, and I do still want to publish those. I've talked about that already. So I guess like finding ways to be creative. I do like cooking. I have more access to that creative part of my brain while I'm in not America for some reason. In America, I just like scavenge for food because I just feel like I don't have time. It feels like eating is a big inconvenience, and I really hate that about it. Like about being here sometimes. Whereas in Finland, I would cook stuff and like everybody'd be like, wow, you cook so well. And I have no idea where it even came from. I just always say like I had access to this creative part of my brain that like I do not have here because I'm like, too survival focused in a way. Uh, playing with my dogs. I started grooming my dogs as a hobby, so maybe I would try to get better at that. It's like I just like to be like good at things and develop skills in things, that are like I don't even want to say like creative related, but just like I wish I could be involved in learning a bunch of new things. Like I've always wanted to have an engineering degree. Like if money were no object, I would want to go back to school for that. I would love that like so much. And yeah, I feel like that's everything that I can think of. Like just like spending more time with people, like being more present for people and taking care of myself, yeah, like self-care. I think I'm honestly already pretty good at self-care. Like yes, I am stressed and yes, I have a lot going on, but like I still exercise. I think I still eat well enough. Like I don't feel like that's really like a big issue that I have. Um so yeah, I would just like to, like manage and maintain everything in a much more orderly way than I do now because I'm like pretty messy and discombobulated because I have so many things going on at once. But that's kind of what keeps me like, you know, motivated maybe. And then obviously traveling. I love to travel. I'd probably travel more and explore new places more. So yeah, maybe more like food and arts related, which is kind of interesting, but also more like learning and information related. Like there are a lot of things I would like to do. So, but I learned that what I usually do end up doing is studying languages more and exercising more. Those seem to be like my two favorite hobbies. And then all these other things are sort of like side hobbies. So, yeah, this is I was listening to videos today on financial freedom, and one of the things that people usually like to go for is they're like, "Oh, I want to, be able to spend more time with hobbies or with people that I love." And yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I would say. Like, I wish I could do these things. So sometimes I do think about, should I move to like a lower cost of living area so that I can, spend more time doing these things? And then when I would come back to the area that I'm from, I could be more intentional about spending time with the people that I love in this area. And then the rest of the time I can dedicate towards myself, my hobbies, development. And then I'm not really worried about just, floating, trying to survive in such a high cost of living area because I do enjoy spending time by myself and doing things by myself. And it's like there are just a lot of people around and I don't necessarily interact with them. So why do I need to pay to be near resources that I don't use? This is kind of the way I think about it. I'm not like a big New York City person. I just like the airports nearby because I like to travel. So yeah, I mean, that was a good question and I hope I answered it here. And I guess until my next video then, thank you and goodbye.